You get what I'm saying? Everybody cannot be a millionaire. And let me just even make it that much more concrete. If you truly have value, you're going to exhibit the fruits of the spirit. Period, point blank. The fruits of the spirits that's in the Bible. Love, joy, peace, happiness, right? Temperance, all those things. If you're a man that looks like the men that were in the book, that's a true high value man. A man who puts the Most High first in his life before these women. What's going on, y'all? BlueFalcon here, coming to you with another video. So I thought this one was interesting. This is a video from the Fresh and Fit podcast. And I thought this was interesting because they're actually talking about what I think is a very interesting topic, which is the topic of, men. What does it mean to be a high value man? And also, should men get vasectomies? That's a topic I feel like a lot of people don't really touch on, so I'm actually very curious about it. But ultimately, I would like to hear from you guys all. What do you think ultimately about it? Please make sure you write down your comments below. But let's just get right into it, you guys.
Take on this. There's 15,000 men watching for the most part. Should men in their 20s get a vasectomy?
Personally, I would say, looking at it from a holistic standpoint, I get what Rollo's saying for the whole topic itself of being high value, because once again, if you get a woman pregnant that's not there for you, she could be against you and it could turn into many different things. But personally, like I was saying earlier, for me, I do want a family. If I meet the right woman, I think is going to raise that child. But for most men, do they have the, I want to say, resources to find a woman that they want of their dreams, or even get the right woman? Probably not. So to be safe, vasectomy might be in their best interest.
So yes.
So let's actually just break this down real quick, because when I first heard this, I thought this was just extremely weird. Weird why? Why in the world are they even advocating for vasectomies? And why is this even associated with the red pill space? So this is actually a tweet from Rollo Tomassi. Rollo Tomassi is actually considered like the godfather of red pill, and you can kind of see it for yourselves. It says the quickest path to becoming a high value man: 1, do not get married. 2, avoid family creation. Okay. 3, vasectomies in your 20s. Now this is what's actually quite odd. Vasectomy in your 20s. All right, keep going. 4, lift consistently. Okay, cool. I can see that. You got to be fit. 5, eliminate all sedations. I get that. Make sure you don't watch no corn. You're not hooked on drugs, things of that sort, right? Learn game and networking. Okay. Play to your strengths, build wealth. Okay. Resist easing up on your focus. Okay. So here's the thing, right? A lot of the stuff that's on this list, and let me go back to it. A lot of the stuff on this list, I now would like to hear from you all. Like, do you agree with this list? I think a lot of it actually makes sense, right? Like, if you're a young man, I don't think it's necessarily wise for you to try to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's wise for you to try to actually start a family very early. I think it's actually very detrimental, especially considering the fact that you're not even established yet. You're having to pay for a family, paying for children. Those are resources that you could be using to build up yourself to become this high value man. So I totally get it. But this right here, the vasectomy part, I'm just like, where did he get this from? So I guess this is what Sneako is really trying to come against. All right, so let's just get back to it.
No, I'm saying, okay, so
Is it yes or no?
It depends on the individual. That's what I'm saying. So it's up to the man to decide for himself. But I'm just saying, generally for me, I think family is very important. But I understand why most men might not want that, because finding a woman that's actually good for you may be kind of hard. So I get
a little bit.
In America specifically.
In America, yeah.
In America, to be specific.
What do you think?
Let's get the ladies' takes on it, and then I'll give my opinion, because I don't want to corrupt them with my take.
Okay.
All right, ladies. Let's make this a little bit more engaging. Let's say you have a son. He's 21 years old, building up a business, whatever it may be, is becoming somewhat successful. Actually, you know what? Let's say 30 years old, because let's be honest, 21-year-old guy is fucking useless. He ain't doing nothing with life. So 30-year-old guy, building up a business, he's on his way to becoming successful. Should he have a vasectomy, knowing how women move nowadays and how girls can trap guys? Should he have a vasectomy? We could start on the couch and then work our way. What are your thoughts to protect himself?
If he's really successful, I mean, I've seen men get trapped, so I'd probably be more prone to saying yes if he was, like a target. But on the whole, I think no.
Okay.
No, I would
No?
tell my
Okay.
son completely no
Okay.
to not do that.
Fair.
Honestly, if they don't want to have children, then yeah. But I think that every man should be able to like decide if they want to have a children or not.
All right.
And it's like important. So I don't think so, honestly.
Okay.
Like you can just find women that follow your values in another part of the world, as you said. Like,
All right. So you're
it
saying
doesn't
you just go somewhere else.
yeah, just like go somewhere.
But what if
where-
they decide to stay in the States?
Honestly, I still think that there's women out there that can be like mother
Okay.
like
What about you?
material.
Honestly, if he wants to, then that's fine with me. But can't you get a vasectomy undone?
You can, yeah.
Yeah, so like I wouldn't be opposed to it at all. Like
You
if
could also
do it, yeah.
detransition after becoming trans.
I mean,
Yeah.
Like, but you don't
yeah.
ever want people to do that in the first place. Like you're messing up your body. Once you take puberty blockers,
Real.
you can go off them, but there's going to be a physical difference.
Exactly. I mean, if he wants to take that risk, I don't really care because I know that they be getting like some girls be lying, doing other shit, and like he's.
But yeah, this is weird because Sneako his development has been rather interesting. Why? Because Sneako has been the guy who came from being that dude that would just scream to the camera. He would, be into conspiracy theories, all into that stuff. And it's crazy because now it's like he has become heel. So like now Sneako's actually trying to be a good guy. And a lot of that could be attributed to the fact that Sneako, from what I know, he like kind of found a religion. I got to do more research into it because I don't know if he's currently Christian or if he's Muslim. I've seen various videos where it seems like I don't know exactly what he is, but definitely this association with a higher power, having this relationship with God is making him sound a lot different. Like before, where it was all about bag beating bounds, getting as much hoes as possible. Now this guy is actually advocating for building families and coming against vasectomies, which you could kind of see the people in the Fresh and Fit podcast, at least that one dude that started speaking already, he's kind of like tiptoeing over it. Like, oh, I don't know about me, but hey, I can see where Rollo Tomassi is coming from. Well, it's just like, where do you actually stand on the situation? So, yeah.
He's trapped now, and then they take all his shit and then leave. So I'm not opposed to it at all,
yeah.
actually.
All right. What about you?
I would say no, but I mean
Okay.
it's their choice.
All right.
Like I would hope that I raise them like a good like they have a good sense of moral and they'd be able to pick the right woman.
Okay. What about you?
I think it depends on a lot of like what his lifestyle is. Like if he's, let's say, starting his business and he's very focused on money and things like that, but he's like constantly meeting new women and engaging with these women.
Yeah.
Then I would say, okay, there's like ways that you can use instead of a vasectomy to avoid the baby. But I have also heard of like women trapping men and things like that. But I feel like it's up to him. Like if he thinks like, no, I'm gonna get trapped. Like I'm getting like I'm meeting new women and I'm doing this and I'm like having intimate moments with them. Then you know what? Do what you want to do. What makes you happy. And regarding,
So yes or no?
I feel like it's just up to him. Like if he wants,
What advice would you give him though?
I would say
As the
like,
mom.
as the mom of my son, I would say like don't go around sticking it in whatever and whoever. Like why don't you, if you're so focused on starting a family or you want to grow, why are you giving time and energy into things that are just going to be gone in the next morning?
Based.
Okay, so I'll take that as a no. What about you?
No, I think there's
Okay.
still a lot of women with values and that can like be a good mothers and stuff like that here in Florida.
Okay. In Florida?
Well, you say Florida, right?
Okay.
Because she's
Well, I
saying-
mean in the United States.
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay. What about you?
I wouldn't want him to. I would just tell him to work on his discernment as far as who he's having sex with. But if he made the decision to have sex with somebody unprotected or whatever happens, then he has to live with those consequences.
Yeah, you guys, you see, this is the thing, right? It's just like all this talk about vasectomies is kind of odd, because here you have one of the criteria of becoming a high value man. Rollo Tomassi talks about, making sure you stay fit, right? Keep lifting. Well, if you can be consistent and show discipline in your fitness, why can't you just show discipline in your penis? You see, so I'm just very confused. And it's really odd because here you have people in the red pill space, and I've been saying this for years now, but people in the red pill space, all they talking about is how women ain't shit because they hoeing around and doing all this stuff, but yet it's okay for the men to do it. You get what I'm saying? Why don't men just show discipline and not have sex with a whole bunch of girls? You see, the hypocrisy is crazy. So I actually appreciate Sneako bringing this out, and I agree with that woman where it's just show some discernment. You do not have to lay with every woman, and not only that, you could, if you actually took your time, right? And I hope you guys are actually hearing me out. If you actually take your time and not trying to just smash the first thing you see at a moment's notice, take your time, actually get to know the individual, right? That could mitigate a whole bunch of mistakes from these men. I mean, I always find it bizarre how men find themselves in situations with women where all of a sudden you found out that, this woman was acting a certain way and how she wasn't a real woman and all this stuff. But come on, man. Are you serious? I mean, there was no red flags before. Nothing told you that she was going to be a gold digger. Nothing told you that she was not going to be a good mom. It's just now you found out. I think these brothers got to increase in their discernment, for real.
All right. What about you?
I personally would tell him I wouldn't want him to do it, but you can't really control what happens. Things happen, and yeah, that's what they have to live with, and they have to deal with that and provide for that child. And you always just have to be careful.
Okay.
I mean, at his big age, I feel like he should know the consequences of doing something like that or not. I would definitely advise him against it because, like you were saying, puberty blockers and all that, once you do something to your body, it's very hard. I mean, impossible to reverse anything that you've done. So, I mean, hopefully I would have raised him to where he would make that decision and, it would be sound on his part, but I would advise him against it.
Your advice? Okay.
How old did you say your son was going to be?
We'll say 30.
30?
Yep.
He's a grown man. I'm not going to be telling him what to do with his balls
Real.
or anything. You need to wrap it before you tap it. Even if you do have a vasectomy, what if you get an STD or something?
All right. My take on it, man, I think it's a sliding scale. The more successful the guy, the more money he has, the more he has to lose, the more a vasectomy might be a good choice. But again, it depends on the guy. If the guy's not smashing at all, do you want to do that? And, obviously you can always undo the snip. So it really depends on the individual. And I think that.
Yeah, it's weird. Why does he keep saying that? I mean, what's so crazy about this? Because I literally know people who have gotten vasectomies, and now in their old age, they actually wish that they have not gotten the vasectomy. And even though they're trying to get it reversed, they're still having complications and still having problems with actually bearing children. I mean, again, just because you reverse the vasectomy, that doesn't mean it's 100% of a chance that you're going to be able to have a child. You see, so why are they advocating for vasectomies? And please, maybe you guys can show me something different. I personally don't get it, but are you in the pursuit of trying to be a high value man? In such a pursuit, are you literally willing to forego just sanity, that you're literally going to have a penis surgery just so what? So that you can screw a bunch of women as much as possible? And why is that? because you don't have no self-control, you don't have no temperance. I mean, this is what I'm saying. If we're gonna talk about being masculine, like, how about actually showing some self-discipline? How about you actually show some self-discipline? I mean, isn't that supposed to be masculine? I'm very curious. Why is it masculine or masculinity only smashing a bunch of girls? Oh boy.
The two main variables are his success and how promiscuous he is with dealing with women. I think those two factors heavily influence the decision. It's going to change per person.
Right, but his take, Rollo's take was that to be a high value man, the top 3 steps: avoid family creation, get a vasectomy, and have a network. It's just like the generic male self-improvement stuff, but like 2 of the top 3: get a vasectomy and avoid family creation. Do you agree?
Did he say avoid? I don't think he said avoid.
Word for word, avoid family creation.
It's on Twitter.
Top 3 steps to become a high value man.
Okay, I didn't see this tweet. I'll have to take a look at it, but.
This is actually a very good point. I mean, notice what he's saying, right? Avoid family creation. Again, I understand where he's coming from, because I guess the context would be within your 20s, right? Like, if you're a young man, maybe you might want to avoid having a family. I totally get it. But again, I guess because Sneako is on this new, spiritual journey of his, he kind of sees the ramifications of what does it mean when you promote to avoid family creation. I mean, I've said this many times, right? The first commandment, the very first commandment that was given to man by the Most High was be fruitful and multiply. So you got to understand that clearly there's an agenda when you have the powers that be. And, me saying this, some people might get butthurt because, how can you talk about Rollo Tomassi like that? Look, I'm not against him. What I'm saying is that there is an agenda to stop families from actually being together and stop the formation of strong, healthy families. Because again, if you could have a bunch of people that are confused, hence the LGBT and all this other stuff, where people are literally going backwards and contrary to the actual law of the Most High. You have a whole bunch of people that cannot reproduce. Like I'm gonna keep it a buck. A man and a man cannot reproduce. A woman and a woman cannot reproduce. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that Rollo Tomassi is advocating for this, but again, the issue comes with the fact that when you say something as alarming as avoid family creation, you too are perpetuating the idea to go against the law of the Most High, which is what? Be fruitful and multiply. And like, what are you? Is that the message you're teaching young men? That you should not start families? Now, again, to be fair, if the context is about being in your 20s, I kind of get it, because I actually do not think it's wise for young men to start families. I actually agree. But at the same time, I don't think vasectomies is the only way for you not to, to circumvent not having a family. I mean, again, just show some discipline. Show some discipline. And don't be such a hypocrite where you're literally condemning a bunch of women because they sleeping around, but yet you are doing the same thing, and you're literally creating the women that you're condemning. Why are you contributing to the high body counts of these women? No. If you're not trying to start a family, don't lay with these women. Period. Point blank. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't complain that women are trying to they gold diggers and all this other bullshit, but then what are you doing? Right? All you're doing is creating these women. So then and for those of you in the manosphere, you guys claim that you're all trying to stick together. Well, what are you doing to the next man? Right? What are you doing to the next man? Because if you don't have no intentions to cover this woman, you don't have no intentions to marry this woman. So what you doing to that next man? Right? The man that actually choose to actually settle with her. Right? He's probably not going to settle with her. Why? Because her body count is too high. You see, it's just illogical. So now what? This woman is going to be childless for the rest of her life? what message are we promoting here? This is very destructive. So I actually agree with Sneako here. But enough of me talking.
I mean, here's the thing. I think what he means by that is being the most. When he says high value man, he's talking from the perspective of being able to be a playboy and get as many girls.
But why is that a priority over having a family? Like, why would that even be advice? Why would that be male self-improvement advice? Be a playboy instead of raise a family? Well, we make fun of women all day for wanting to be girl boss queens and sleep around and have all this, and then you tell guys be a playboy instead of raise a family. That's the same advice on the other side.
Because here's the thing: when you're a playboy, you're going to be better at raising the family, and the reason.
But he's saying avoid family creation.
Well, he's saying to be a high value. He's talking from the frame, knowing Rollo because I know him personally. He's talking from the frame of being a guy getting a lot of girls. And then, if you decide you want to get a family down the road, you can always unsnip and then go ahead and go down the family route. But in today's day and age, I agree to a degree that you need to have sex with at least 50 girls as a guy. I've talked about that all the time. It's controversial, but the reason why I say that is because...
You see that? He advocates for having sex with 50 girls. Why? Why? How does that make you a high-value man? Please let me know, guys. Let me know in the chat. Maybe I'm bugging, but why does that make you a high-value man? All of this is make you a whoremonger. Now, and if that's your lifestyle, then you go ahead and do it. But for me, as for me in my house, I'm gonna choose to serve the living Yah, the Most High. Straight up, I'm gonna choose to serve that God of the Bible. Because here's the thing, right? Like, why are we advocating for men being whoremongers? 50 women? Why? How does that? And don't get me wrong, right? I guess he's coming from the point of view that by doing that, you're going to learn female nature. Okay, maybe. But you cannot learn female nature without having sex with 50. I'll give you a perfect example. I'll give you an analogy, right? Do you need to touch fire in order for you to know that fire burns? I'm going to ask the question again. Do you need to touch fire in order for you to know that fire burns? No, you do not. Everybody does not need to touch fire in order to know that fire burns. That's just common sense, right? Or one way of learning is, how about you witness other people who went through similar events and see that, oh, okay, maybe I do or do not want to go down that route. So the same thing here. You don't need to have sex with 50 women in order for you to understand female nature. No. There's a whole bunch of men who already have went down that path, and they already have been explaining female nature a long time ago. So it's nonsensical. It doesn't make sense. I totally reject it. But I can see, like, again, and what makes it crazy is that these are the guys who are promoted and they're in the forefront of the red pill space, and they're the ones who are like apparently the champions of masculinity. But this is what most men are listening to right now. This is the advice that most men follow, and it's destructive to the homes.
Because most women are more promiscuous than most guys. So if you're a dude and you're getting out here and dating girls and you get your pee-pee wet with the first girl, she could sell you a dream and you're like, oh yeah, this is great. So guys got to get out there and be sexually experienced. So he's talking from the frame of being attractive.
I think most guys out here are not going to be able to control their sexual urges. So he's saying
dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The quickest path to becoming a high value man. Do not get married, avoid family creation, vasectomy in your 20s, live consistently, eliminate all sedations, learn game and networking, play to your strengths, build wealth, resist easing up on your focus. He's talking about increasing your value when you're young.
Becoming successful, yeah.
Becoming successful. Yeah.
Avoid family creation and get a vasectomy.
Yeah, because when you, because your value doesn't go up until you're built something, and that's typically going to be in your 30s.
So most guys,
that's what he's saying.
What do they focus on? Girls the whole time. He's saying.
So this is the thing, right? I actually understand exactly where he's coming from, because again, I don't advocate for men to start families in their 20s. I really don't. There's very few circumstances. Like if you are already established, okay, fine. Maybe if there's generational wealth and you're responsible, fine, right? But let's face it, right? And for those of you who are, not in your 20s, like maybe 30s and above, damn well, if you ask the average 20-year-old, are they responsible? Who's going to say, I'm not responsible? Who's going to be truthful to themselves and have enough integrity to admit that they don't know nothing? Majority of 20-year-olds, they don't know a damn thing. They don't know a damn thing. So even though you might talk to a 20-year-old and be like, hey, man, maybe it might be better for you to wait. Majority of them don't want to hear it. So, hey, if they end up having sex with a bunch of girls and then they end up getting stuck, it's kind of on them. I don't feel sorry. I don't feel sorry for them because, hey, you made your bed, now you got to lay in it. But to be fair, I actually agree with Fresh and Fit on this one. You, as a young man, you should avoid getting married, or you should avoid trying to start a family. And the reasoning is only because you're not established yet. If you're established, by all means, start that family. But you're putting your wife, you're putting that child at a disadvantage. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage by starting a family, and your finances are not in order. So, I mean, just practice some patience. Practice some temperance. Take your time, because there's always going to be a woman out there. There's always going to be a woman out there. Just wait. Work on yourself, build yourself, and then, okay, settle down. But, hey, majority of men don't want to hear that.
At this point in your career, when you're on the way up, focus on things that are going to help you move forward in life and become successful.
Yeah. And get a surgery done that prevents you from having children.
Yeah, but you can always reverse it.
That's not like, a lot of the times that shit messes up. That's not something you could just like hope that it's going to be okay.
Generally, most men can't control their urges, so what's going to happen is they're going to go fuck around and get somebody pregnant.
This is how you rise up the path to become high status, because you're eliminating all variables that can fuck you up.
Yeah, it's about
That's what he's saying.
Risk mitigation right there.
How many dudes do you know that could have made it to the NBA or could have been a star and an athlete or something that got some chick pregnant?
Yeah.
Like kids a lot of the times ruin dudes' futures because they have kids prematurely. So he's saying this is the path to becoming a high value man. And then once you become that guy,
reverse the vasectomy.
Reverse the vasectomy.
Yeah. Do you think that's good advice? I mean, that's good advice if your qualifications of a high value man is a guy with a big body count. But it might be like, I thought.
No. He's talking about increasing your value as a man. You're basically what he's doing is he's retard proofing it.
Yeah.
If you have vasectomy and you bust nuts at girls, you're not going to have a kid, so you're not going to fuck up your future when you're young and you're not in a position to raise that child. That's what he's saying.
We all know what is men's biggest weakness: women. And as a result, what happens is, what's another factor for not having success? Having a kid too early. That's reality.
That's the number one wealth killer, dude.
Yeah,
kids. If you really look at it, it's the number one wealth killer.
Now, once again, we support families.
Yeah, we do.
But at the same time, for what he's saying, to become successful
You
at a young
can't
age,
say that you support families and also tell your audience to get a vasectomy.
We didn't say that. We just said you're
toting the fence about it.
We're explaining why you said that.
Do you agree?
I understand why you said it.
You see how you're ducking? You see how you're ducking the
No,
it's a simple question.
It's on me. It's not about me. It's about the generational.
I'm asking your opinion.
No. Sneako, you're funny.
It's just a question.
No.
Bro, we make the girls on the panel answer questions specifically all the time. It's just, do you agree, yes or no?
Personally, my decision has nothing to do with this discussion. I'm just saying for you.
Politician answer.
I understand why you're saying that.
Yeah, you see, your thing is, he's talking about how to be.
You see, so this is interesting because, again, it seems very clear that this guy does not actually support the idea of getting a vasectomy. I think that's clear, right? What's even more disturbing about this, though, is that I think the reason why he's not able to actually, with concreteness, come against what Rollo Tomassi said is because Rollo Tomassi in the red pill community is kind of considered like this deity. Again, he's the godfather of red pill. But you guys gotta be able to think for yourself. I mean, real talk. You gotta be able to just use some self-autonomy. I mean, if something is wrong, something is wrong. And it doesn't matter, and I'm trying to be so unbiased. It doesn't matter if I tell you this. It doesn't matter if the president tells you this. It doesn't matter who tells you this. If you're not getting information directly from the Most High himself, then everything is subject to scrutiny. Am I making sense? Everything is subject to scrutiny. But for you to not be able to definitively and concretely come against the idea all because you uphold this man, you have so much reverence for this man that you're not even just using common sense. It's actually very disturbing. I mean, again, I don't have anything against Rollo Tomassi. I think he's helped a lot of men. I think this, though, is definitely some bullshit. And I don't advocate for men. But again, right, who am I? I would like to hear from you guys. You know, put it in the comments. Do you support vasectomies? Because according to Myron, you know, this is retard proof. You know what I'm saying? You could try to do all these things, but because women is men's biggest weakness, a retard, according to him, will bust a nut in a woman and get her pregnant, and then his life is over. But again, why does that have to be the story? That does not have to be the story. I mean, I'm married, and I didn't get my wife pregnant before time. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get her pregnant before time, so why does that have to be the story? It's utterly ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. And also, too, I didn't get married until I was established. So again, I reject the notion, I reject the idea that, you know, you have to. You have to get a vasectomy because you won't be able to control yourself. No. I don't agree whatsoever. It's so disturbing. Again, if you're such a high value man, and this is what's so crazy, right? In the pursuit of being high value, where you're successful, you have a business, whatever the case may be, right? Whatever you consider to be high value, didn't you have to exhibit some level of consistency and some level of determination, grit, and more importantly, self-discipline? In order to become this high, because again, I don't know any entrepreneur that got to that level by being lazy. I don't know how many high-value men got to that point by not being disciplined. So you see the contradiction? It's just like you possess discipline in all these areas of your life, but when it comes to women, that's your kryptonite. Nah. That means deep down inside, I wouldn't consider you high value at all. You actually are beta. If you could show discipline in all these areas, truth be told, that's exactly what a beta is. We call them beta male providers, right? So that means clearly they're successful. They can provide for women, but women is their biggest weakness. So what's the difference between the high value man? You're just glossing it over and you're trying to focus on all the good parts. But if women is still your weakness, then deep down inside you're still a beta. Yeah, this is totally weird to me. Again, if you claim that you're truly a high value man, control your penis. Have some self-discipline. And don't only show self-discipline in only certain areas. Don't cherry pick where you choose to be disciplined. Be disciplined in all areas of your life, especially when it comes to being with a woman.
Become a high-value guy. That's good advice.
I have a follow-up question for
you're
the
eliminating
girls.
fuck up bullshit, like shit that will fuck you up.
Can I ask her on the panel now, the ladies here? What is your definition of a high-value man? We could start with Kara on the couch.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for advocating for that just now. I appreciate a man saying that. But
Well, you dodging like a motherfucker.
yeah, you.
Wait, what was the title? What was the question? Sorry.
What are your qualifications for a high-value man?
Okay.
What's your idea of a high-value man?
A high-value man is somebody who's successful, who is intelligent, who is hardworking, and who has integrity, and who's a genuine person.
We're gonna let them define it. You're not gonna give them a okay. All right. So their definition of what you're asking them what makes a high value man qualify? Okay.
What qualifies a man as high value?
Okay. Not
I
what
think
they
she answered
qualify. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. So you said what? Integrity. What else?
Integrity, being genuine, man of character.
Yeah, and also being good at what you do. I think too.
Okay. What if he's good at playing World of Warcraft?
No, like, be good at something and in life, like be successful at something in life, figure out what that is for you and be impressive in that way.
Okay.
Just to add to what you guys were talking previously, I'm gonna answer the question now. It's just like the example, I forgot his name on the top of my head, but you guys should know the famous soccer player from
that his I guess he was getting a divorce or whatever, and most of his assets was towards his mom, like all of them. That's something that I would advise my son. Like, hey, if you feel doubts of who you're marrying or something like that, but you still love them, you know, put everything under my name.
That wasn't the question.
No, I know. I just wanted to add to what was being spoken to previously. But what I think a high value man is ambition, integrity, like she said, honesty, loyalty, actual loyalty, and yeah, basically that's it. And hardworking.
You know what's crazy though? A lot of these answers that these women are given is very textbook answers. And I'm not saying those things are not important. Integrity, honesty, man of character, those things are important. But if we got to keep it a buck, a majority of women are never going to even give you the time of day unless they're attracted to you anyway. They're never going to know what type of character you have. They're never going to know if you got charisma. They're never going to know any of this stuff about you unless they actually interested or find you attractive to begin with. So a lot of this stuff is all fluff.
Okay.
Very similar to
What about you?
Not that different, honestly. Just being like hardworking, family oriented, like being there if we have a child, you know. Integrity too, like having their being focused on what they want to do in life. Just not being all over the place.
All right.
Okay.
I just want someone that's loyal and genuine and like happy with me, I guess.
Well, maybe don't answer the question about who you want to be with, but what do you think qualifies a man as someone who's high value?
That is high value to me.
Okay.
Like, honestly, you just need to be a good person. And I think that that's high value.
Is your ex these traits?
Huh?
Is your ex loyal and genuine and a good person?
Was he? No.
So why do you hang out with him?
He's chill.
Because he's chill?
Yeah.
What the Okay.
Because I want to. I don't know.
So he's not loyal or genuine or good?
No. Okay. So he's good.
Okay.
He's now genuine. And I believe now he is loyal.
So are you going
But not before. I feel like people can grow, no?
Okay.
So, you know, never mind. That's fine. Go ahead.
So I would say, like, to me, a high value man is someone that prioritizes like his health. So like health, like as in fitness, just like eating well, like skincare, things like that, and like, of course, like being ambitious, loyalty, communication, honesty.
Okay.
I agree with the health thing because I've met a whole bunch of guys that think that like taking care of themselves is very feminine and they're like very against it and things like that, and it leads to them just being dirty. But I think that a high value man is a man that has a goal in life, and that I like a man with a lot of wisdom. I like a man that can, you know, tell stories and give advice, and it's actual good advice and they know what they're talking about. I also like a secure man. I think that a high value man is insecure in himself, and he reps what he is, and he doesn't care about like what other people have to say or what they're doing. I think it's a very high value man.
All right.
I think a high value man is a successful one, a man that comes with a family oriented, religious oriented, somebody who takes care of the person that is next to him, in a sense of like being a gentleman, opening the door, those little things that makes the big difference.
Okay.
Some traits of a high value man to me is someone who is respectful, also respected by others, treats other people how he wants to be treated, goal oriented, brave, courageous, works on himself. Always self-improvement is crucial. So whether that be health, spirituality, his physical body, always self-improving.
So I definitely think a high value man is who they are as a person. So I would want someone who has integrity, you know, someone who has some sort of passion, something they're working towards. I really appreciate passion. I feel like it's something that drives.
Hey, loyal supporter, what's going on? Good, glad to see you on the live.
Vibes me as well. So also I want them to be loyal and honest. So
I really think a high value man is, if you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he's kind of at the top where he's at self-fulfillment and he's able to give back to others. So he's holding himself at a high value and he does everything in his power to become the best person he is, and then he's able to give back to other people too.
Okay.
Yeah, go
What
ahead.
I think is a high value man, someone that's like more mature in a sense, like they're past the phase, like especially here in Miami, like blowing their money on tables and bottles and going out. Like a high value
Sneako.
man, a high value man to me is like a
Wrong.
workaholic, has his like not his finances in order, but he knows how to spend his money rather than like waste it.
Okay. I realized today and like while traveling the world that I probably agree with women's idea of a high value man more than the red pill space's idea of a high value man.
How?
Wow. See, did you hear that? Sneako actually agrees with women's perspective of a high value man more than with the red pill itself. And this is interesting because the red pill promotes that a high value man is a man, fit, got his money on point, all this stuff. And a lot of these women, they didn't mention any of that stuff. So it's interesting because I actually, it's again, this new Sneako that we are witnessing, he has seemed like he has matured quite a bit. And it's actually very interesting because Sneako doesn't seem like he's that same child who, screaming at the camera. He's not that same child who, was all talking about just smashing a bunch of girls. It's like he has totally made a complete 180. But let's see what he continues to say.
How dare you?
I think women, did you see how all of them, none of them brought up finances really? None of them brought up like the way you look. None of them talked about like what you wear. And all of it is about character. It's
Sneako
about
took the TradCon pill, bro.
Yeah, it's about your personality.
It's important. It's important. TradCon pill, bro.
No, look, it's important to have wealth and it's important to have status in mind. But that's what this space is kind of avoiding a lot of the time, is that that's an extremely important part of becoming high value. And if we actually want to raise a family, that's an extremely important part of male self-improvement.
Sneako, her man has these traits now. Why is she with him?
Did you say that?
What?
Your man has those traits?
He's not my man, but
Your
I
ex.
think
Your
he's
ex.
working towards it. That's why we're not together, because I don't
He's
wanna
working
be
toward.
with
He's
him.
not there yet. They're in
Yeah,
high school.
no.
But
It's a high school relationship. That's not a good comparison.
No. But that's what I'm trying to say, bro. Like the thing is that girls are gonna say things that are politically correct, and it sounds good. Like, oh, notice how she said a guy who has his finances in order, and then what did she say? Doesn't spend his money stupidly. That's having your finances. Like, I don't really care about finances, but like have their finances in order, but not really. But like, just don't spend money stupidly.
Her
So
and
it's
the
like,
kids.
Like, I get it. Like the girls are on a podcast, they don't want to make themselves look like bad or whatever. But dude, I mean, let's just keep it 1,000. I always say it. All women are gold diggers. Some are just better at hiding the shovel. They hide it up with words like passion or ambition or drive,
goals.
Or goals. Like, hey man, look man.
Yo, this dude Myron is actually making some good points. I mean, and this is kind of what I was saying before. I mean, clearly they're going to give the textbook answer. I mean, that's so evident. They're going to give the textbook answer. Oh, he should be this and that. But majority of these women, do you know how many people they have in the friend zone that have a lot of these qualities? There's so much women that have a bunch of men that have the qualities of integrity, good-hearted, their finances are on point, but let's keep it a buck. Because they're not interested in them, they don't care about those qualities. So do I think those qualities are important? Yes, I do think those qualities are important. However, for majority of women, they will never care to even investigate if these men have these qualities unless they actually first physically attracted to these men to begin with. But I think, to be fair to Sneako, that ultimately there's a bigger picture here. And it seemed like it's the concept of family building, which is why he was against the vasectomy, and which is why I think he kind of renounces this red pill ideology of what a high value man is. Because a high value man has nothing to do with how much money you make. In actuality, the true high value man has certain characteristics about himself that goes far beyond just monetary gain. Is this a man of character? Is he a man that has integrity? Is he a man that exhibits discipline and consistency? Because those things are going to be far more important in building a home. Like I'll give you a perfect example. You don't need to have 6 figures to be a high value man. There's a bunch of fathers out there who are making $40,000 a year, probably even less. And because they have discipline, integrity, self-control, they providing for their families just the same. You get what I'm saying? Everybody cannot be a millionaire. Now, with that being said, although I personally believe that, and I personally believe that that's what a true high value man, those who exhibit, and let me just even make it that much more concrete. If you truly high value, you're going to exhibit the fruits of the spirit. Period, point blank. The fruits of the spirits that's in the Bible. Love, joy, peace, happiness, right? Temperance, all those things. If you're a man that looks like the men that were in the book, that's a true high value man. A man who puts the Most High first in his life before these women. That's a true high value man. But what if you have those characteristics but you're not making 6 figures, that means what? You're not a high value man? At least that's what the red pill community would try to have you to believe. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's actually interesting. But I would like to definitely hear from you guys. Like, what do you guys think? But I could see both sides of the story.
You had that TradCon pill, bro. Like, because
so what's the alternative? Getting a vasectomy? Like, are we advocating towards getting a surgery which prevents you from having children? That's not even to compare that to birth control is insane. That surgery is not meant to be reversed. It's meant to be permanent. Not you didn't say like put on a condom or like be absent for a little bit. The red pill ideology is literally avoid family creation and get a dick surgery.
Sneako.
And you didn't even say no to that. You're like, well, maybe.
You have to understand context. What is the context? The context.
How to become a high value man from the red pill godfather.
Yes, but
the
when you're
fastest way, the quickest way to do it. That's important, dude. He said the quickest way to do it. Avoid family creation. Focus on making money. Go to the gym.
Get a vasectomy.
All the self-improvement stuff. Because a lot of guys, remember, dude, the average guy doesn't have much dick discipline. They'll get a girl pregnant when they're 18, 19, 20, 21. So if you got a vasectomy, what does it do? It makes it retard-proof. He's giving advice for the lowest common denominator. Quickest way to be a high-value guy for the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, I'm gonna land the plane on this, you guys, which is what? Where it's just like, again, this idea of being a high-value man and you cannot control your penis, to me, it's contradictory. I don't get it. I probably would never get it because it doesn't make sense, because I don't understand how you even became high-value unless you had some level of self-discipline to begin with. Because if you're a man who was actually reading your Bible, the Bible was the original book that already told you how these women operate. If you were a man that put the Most High first above everything else, you would already know female nature. You would already know that a lot of these women out here ain't nothing but gold diggers. You already know their nature, and you avoid such women. And now, here's the caveat. I don't believe all women are this way, right? Like you have the Proverbs 31 women are virtuous women. I do not believe all women are just the scum of the earth who is out here to scheme on men. I don't believe it. With that being said, though, again, this is why I believe if you truly high value, you would put the Most High first in your life. And it would help you avoid a lot of this nonsense that's going on in terms of modern relationships, modern dating, modern women, and all this stuff. That's why the Bible always says, if you just read it, You guys are so against modernness, right? Modernity, whatever you want to call it. This is why the Bible says, seek ye the old paths, and therein you will find rest for your soul. So that's why I always talk about having a traditional mindset. If you don't want to deal with modern women, go find yourself a traditional woman. And you don't even got to worry about all this other nonsense that they're trying to throw in the atmosphere, high value this, that, and all this. It's all garbage. Anyway, if you like videos like this, please like, subscribe, comment down below because it does help. And I would love to hear your comments. Like, what do you guys think it means to be a high value man? And also, do you think that having a vasectomy is part of the criteria if you're trying to be a high value man the quickest way possible? Again, I would love to hear your comments down below. Anyway, with that being said, BlueFalcon over and out. Game hard.
Game to win. Game hard.